Greetings, you filthy heretics. The new killer has dropped, and it is an AI trying to merge with the flesh. Disgusting. And you disgust me for enjoying it. Luckily, I have identified two major issues with this rusted pile of metal heresy. First, he is very map dependent. This isn't a new thing that I'm presenting. Everybody knows this. Everybody's talked about it. And also I don't really have any solutions for it, so I just thought I'd mention it, and then we can move on. The second issue, after playing both as and against this killer for, almost 2 weeks now, is, it represents a bit of a concerning trend with Dead by Daylight in general. And it is what I would like to call the 200 yearsification of Dead by Daylight. Jokes aside, though, I actually do think the killer's very cool. I basically just wanted an excuse to use AdMech music in this video. So, by the blessed Omnessiah, let's talk about it. Alright, comma, what the hell do you mean by the 200 yearsification of Dead by Daylight? Well, just bear with me, I will explain. Anybody who has played League of Legends, when they hear the phrase 200 years, will immediately know what I mean. But let me educate you, for those of you who are smart and don't waste your time torturing yourselves playing this terrible video game. A few years ago now, there was a debate on Twitter about the balance of a particular champion. One of the developers at Riot Games, the creator of League of Legends, chimed in on this debate and put out an absolutely infamous tweet now, where basically he called the guy an idiot and claimed that everybody on the balance team at Riot had 200 plus collective years of game design. This immediately became a meme, which was reinforced when a YouTuber made a video featuring this tweet, and then the background was basically a big montage of all the completely broken nonsense that had happened in the game in recent months. This meme spread so widely that even the LCK broadcasters, people who are literally employed by Riot Games, were making fun of this guy during the broadcasts.
You can see Fly going in there just as punching back, and then we're all reintroduced to Mr. 200 Years.
Oh, it's gonna really come down to a Miracle Kiana Ultimate Flawless. Doesn't even probably think he can go for the steal, but he might! Aphelios! How many years?
So the phrase 200 years is basically to describe anything that is, A, extremely overpowered, but also anything that is overloaded, unintuitive, overly complicated, or just has too many features. Let me give you an example of what I'm getting at here, right? Try to describe the Huntress's power in as few words as possible. She throws hatchets. Now the Wraith, right? He bing bong, he invisible, he bing bong again, he visible. Let's do one more just for fun. The Nurse. She blinks, and then she can blink again. Now, let's try to summarize the Singularity's power in as few words as possible. The Singularity can hold right-click to enter gun mode. In gun mode, he can left-click to shoot a biopod. If a biopod hits a wall, it sticks to the wall and becomes a little camera he can peek through going forwards. If a biopod instead hits a survivor, it sticks a little goo blob to their back. Now, if the Singularity aims at a survivor through one of his cameras for a few seconds, it will also shoot a blob at that survivor. If a survivor already has a blob attached to them and you shoot them with your gun or camera them a second time, then you will teleport to where that survivor was 3 seconds ago. Upon teleporting, the Singularity becomes overclocked. While overclocked, the speed at which you break pallets and walls and vault windows is increased by 75%. You also cannot be stunned by pallets. Instead, they are instantly broken and you are slowed for a few seconds. The duration of overclock mode is increased by 1 second for each good survivor. And I bet you didn't even know that part, did you nerds? At the start of the game, 5 boxes will randomly spawn that fabricate EMPs. They produce one automatically every 90 seconds, or a survivor can hold interact on a box to make it spawn faster. Once an EMP is created, it can be equipped like an item, and the survivor can then hold right-click to charge the EMP. This creates a zone that deactivates any wall cameras and destroys the blobs on any survivors. And do you see the problem here? The Huntress throws hatchets. And it's not just the Singularity. If you look at it, like the list of killers, right? They've been basically slowly getting more and more complex, which is to be expected and is fine, right? So you move into the kind of 2018-19 era, you get like the Oni. He's a bit more complicated, right? He's got to, get blood to charge up his power, and then his power is kind of weird. The Deathslinger literally has a gun. Pyramid Head's kind of weird. Twins are weird. Nemesis is weird. Pinhead's weird. Artist is weird. And in terms of, like, overloading things, even Wesker, who I agree is one of the best designed killers in the game, but even Wesker is just the Demogorgon V2. His power is Demo's power, but he can do it twice. Then you have the Knight with all of his patrolling nonsense, and his minions can, like, play the game for him. And then you have the Skull Merchant, who's got so many weird little interactions with her power, I can't even describe them all. And then you get to the Singularity, who is by far the worst example of this. Like, I played, so I had no idea what this killer did when he went to live, right? I didn't play the PTB, I didn't watch many videos or anything. And I played against him my first game, and I had no idea what was going on. And I have, like, over 1,000 hours in this game. Like, I'm not saying I'm amazing, but I generally can figure out what's going on, and I had no clue with this killer. And I was like, look, it was my first game, it'll be fine, right? I'll figure it out. Second game, still had no idea. Third game, still had no idea, and then I had to go and, like, look up, okay, what does this killer do? Because I have no idea. He seems to do everything. And the thing is that now that I've looked up and played as him, it's not even, like, difficult. It's just so obtuse and overloaded that it's really, what's the word? Unintuitive. It's extremely unintuitive how this killer works. I don't think he's even that difficult to play. He's just is weird. And I think we should all take a moment of silence for all the new players who have to deal with this killer now, because they've got no shot, man. I'd be very interested to see the kill rates of this killer like a week after he comes out, and then like 2 months after he comes out, because I think people will eventually figure out how to play against him, and his kill rates will drop substantially. But because he's so weird and obtuse, it's going to take people a long time to just figure out how the killer works. Like, on a basic level, nobody knows what this guy does, which I think is a problem. Stop. It has recently come to my attention that over 90% of the people who watch my videos aren't subscribed. What are you doing? If you're watching them, please subscribe. I work hard on these. It would mean a lot. Do it. Okay, on with the video. Your killer shouldn't be good because people don't know what he does. The best designed killers are the one who have a power that is straightforward, easy to pick up, but has a high skill ceiling, right? Like the Huntress is probably the best example of this, where her power, again, she throws hatchets. Anybody knows what she does. 30 seconds into any game, any new player can figure out what the Huntress does. She throws hatchets. But she also has a monstrously high skill ceiling, and incredible Huntress players will mess up, like, the best survivor groups, right? Or, like, the Hillbilly. His power, pretty straightforward. You rev the chainsaw, then you go fast. The only weird part is that you can curve for the first, like, half a second, but it's a pretty simple power. But again, great Hillbilly players are feared because they can just tear through teams. Or even the Blight. Base Kit Blight, his add-ons are bullshit. But base Kid Blight is a killer who, straightforward, he dashes, then he bounces, then he dashes again. And repeat. With an incredibly high skill ceiling. I guess, to summarize, my issue is that Singularity is like the opposite of that. He doesn't even seem to have a very high skill ceiling. You murk people with cameras, and then you do it again, and then you blink and you hit them. But he's so obtuse to figure out what he even does that I think it's a bit concerning that he is this way. And I think this problem, I don't even think it's that bad with the Singularity. I think it could certainly be worse. And I guess I'm very concerned about where this could go in the future. If killers continue to be increasingly 200 years, then we may reach a point. Because the more overcomplicated characters are when they release, it pushes the game more towards a competitive standpoint. Only the hardcore players are going to stay and figure out what this killer does, and thus only the hardcore players are going to keep playing the game. And Dead by Daylight is not a game that works well with hardcore players, because it's a super janky game that you should never take seriously. So all I'm saying, maybe dumb it down a little bit. And to appease the blessed machine spirit, get this goddamn AI out of my horse.